Hello everyone and welcome back to another tutorial. This one is how to draw a dog in graphite. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. I've got lots of tutorials come up in graphite and in colour, so make sure you don't miss out. Okay, so first things first, you need to, in my opinion, don't need to do anything obviously, but in my opinion, um, getting a decent layout is key, and it just makes work so much easier if your layout is accurate. So, number one, get an accurate layout done. If that's something you struggle with, I have already done videos on how to lay out drawings with two different methods. So, check in my videos and I will link them up above as well. So, once my layout is complete, I always like to start with the eyes, um, and I like to get the structure of the eye in before necessarily starting on the eyeball. So, getting the bone structure in the right place, and making sure it's all where it should be before drawing the actual eyeball. The last thing you want to do is get a really nice rendered eyeball and then realize that actually it's in the wrong place and you need to move it. So yeah, it's much easier to get the structure in first and then go in and render the eye. Now these eyes on this dog are clearly very dark, but you still need to have gradation and edged values in there. So yes, they're very dark, but they're still edge to values and gradation, so you can still tell where the eyeball ends and where the eyelid comes down over the top and such forth. You've got to make sure that they are all in there, or else it will just look like a black blob and it will not look like an eye. So I like to go in with my 4H first and plot all of my dark tones in. Where the dark tones will be, I plot in with my 4H, which is my lightest pencil. And then once I've got my 4H in for my darkest places, I then go in with my HB and make the darkest places darker. And then you can carry on with the 4H on the places that I haven't put 4H yet, to try and keep it all in balance. So it's really important that everything stays in balance, in my opinion, that everything stays in balance. It makes it much easier to see where you're going if everything is staying in relative balance. Obviously you need to go darker, and then it's not in balance until you get your midtones in. But I wouldn't suggest going around everywhere and getting all of the darks in everywhere and then trying to get all of your midtones in and then trying to get all of your light tones in, because that you'll end up in a mess. That's a very, very difficult way of doing it. It's much easier to plot out your darks with your lightest pencil and then go over your darks again with your next pencil up, and then you can you can move away from the dark parts with your lighter pencil with gradation, so that you can see where something is hiding behind something, or it's curving out or curving in. It's all light and it's all tricks with your pencil really, because obviously this is just a flat piece of paper. But the way to trick the human eye into seeing a dog or a 3D object is all through lights and darks and tonal values, whether you're working in graphite or colored pencil or pastel or whatever you're paint, whatever you're working in. The trick to realism is your darks and your lights being in balance. That tricks your eye into seeing the dog, even though obviously the dog's not there and it's just pencil on paper. But that's the trick of it, is lights and darks and getting everything in balance. And that's basically all I do really, is just go back over things. So I start off with my lightest pencil to plot in where everything needs to be, make sure that's all correct, which is what I'm doing now with my 4H, making sure everything goes down in the proper position. So looking backwards and forwards from my reference image, which as you can see is right next to me, um, and yeah, making sure that they're all in the right place, and then you can go in with your next step up pencil. For me is a HB, for you it might be a 2B or a 2H, whatever. Step up and get the darker bits darker again, and then that releases you with your lighter pencil to go a bit further with gradation without losing the 3D effect. So if you were just to go all over it with your 4H pencil straight away, you'd instantly make it flat, and it's quite challenging to get it back from being flat if you don't know what you're doing. So again, just going around with the 4H and plotting where everything's going, my darks. Also paying attention to what shape I'm actually drawing. So here with the snout, it's coming down and around the side of his nose. So you need to reflect that with your pencil strokes. It's no good. It's no good just putting flat pencil strokes in. They need to be curving down around his nose or his muzzle. Same goes here. This going up the side of his face. So your pencil strokes need to reflect that and not just be, flat pencil strokes. They've got to reflect the way the fur's growing, and the way the muscle structure is within the animal itself. And that's another really, really important key, is that you follow the direction of the fur, no matter what. Again, no matter what you're working in, you need to make sure that you're following the direction of the fur, and using your pencil strokes or brush strokes or whatever accordingly to capture that movement and that direction. As I keep saying, it's not a flat area. That this is a round 3D dog, so the last thing that we want to do is make it flat. So yeah, it's all tricks with lights and darks and making sure that it's all in balance, and it really is. That's all to it really. You just picking out the shapes and just going through. It's almost a procedure of lightest pencil, next lightest pencil, next lightest pencil. Next darkest pencil, next darkest pencil, until you get to where everything's as dark as it needs to be. I only work from 4H to 4B, and I use my 4B very, very, very minimally. I've used it once so far in his eyes, but that's it, and it was only for the really deepest, darkest places. And again, I'll use it on his nose and a little bit for just the deepest, darkest places, but everywhere else is 2B to 4H. And I don't, with that range of pencils, I don't get the amount of graphite shine that you would if you went 5B or higher. You get really, really shiny graphite, and it's not as appealing. But yeah, that's excuse me. That's that's all there is to it. Just following the direction from your reference image, and just going backwards and forwards all the time with either a tapered stroke, so you kind of land it like an aeroplane and then take off like an aeroplane again, so you don't have a start and an end to your stroke. You sort of land it on the page and pull off the page whilst all in one swoop, or just little circles without taking your pencil off the paper. It depends which part of the animal you're drawing. So with his nose, I would be using more circular pattern as well with the darker shaded areas. Whereas around his muzzle and down the side of his face, I want some more hair texture coming through. So then I would use the tapered stroke more than the circle method. And that's yeah, that's all there is to it. Just working through the pencils, following your reference image. It doesn't have to be exact. This isn't exactly the same as the reference image, although what I will say is that it looks distorted from this angle, purely because of the way my camera is set up. I draw on an angle, I don't draw flat, so it's quite difficult to get directly behind it and get everything looking the way it should. So it doesn't the drawing isn't as off as it looks on here compared to the reference image. The reference image looks different on here because of the angle that I am drawing at. But if you stick around to the end, there's a still of the finished drawing at the end, and you can see then that it's um, yeah, it's very close to the reference image. But like I say, it doesn't need to be bang on. All you're trying to do is capture the dog that you're drawing, or the animal that you're drawing, or the person that you're drawing, or whatever. And there are certain characteristics that are really important, like the eyes. You can tell somebody just from their eyes. If you people with that wear burqas or that have got their head covered, and you just got their eyes showing, you can still tell who that person is if you know that person just from their eyes. So eyes are really important. And as far as dogs go, that all the features, the ears, the nose, these things are all important to that dog. But it doesn't have to be exactly bang on. You could spend days and days and days trying to make it as perfect as you can, and it might not be as good as just a few days. Um, just trying to capture the essence of the animal without having to copy absolutely everything. It's a much freer way of drawing, and I think it definitely shows in your work if you're not thinking, right, I need to try and get every single hair in, and you're more thinking how to capture the essence of the animal. This one, for example, the eyes, the way she is, she's got her head down, she's sort of staring into the camera with her head down on a blanket or um, a pillow covering the side of her face. So that's the she almost looks sad, and that's the kind of essence I'm trying to capture, as opposed to, right, I need to get this hair here and this hair here and this hair here. That's not. I mean, you can draw like that, absolutely. Lots of people do, but I prefer to try and capture the important bits and try and make it, rather than, because in the past I've had people say it looks exactly like a photograph, and they mean it as a compliment, and it is a compliment. It's a really nice compliment, but for me, I don't want people to mistake my drawing for a photograph. I want them to know that it's a drawing. So that sort of made me change the way I drew a little bit, really. And I think it's definitely better. I think it shows. So yeah, so all I'm doing now as well is just going around, obviously getting the blanket and the pillow in, and then just going around with the final touches, making sure that every edge to value is an edge to value, and it works the way it's supposed to work, creating the effect of things being in front of other things and so on and so forth. And then, yeah, that's it. All that's left to do then is sign it and get it delivered. So I hope you enjoyed that. Again, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. It really does help me out. And I will put a still up now of the finished drawing Yeah, I hope you like it. Any comments or likes are appreciated. Thank you very much, and I will see you again soon. Cheers, guys.